Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all doing well and having a good day so far. So I want to apologize for not uploading the last 6 days. My school had this summer STEM camp that was going on for the last 4 days, which was why I couldn't upload any videos. I had a lot of fun, got to be with my friends, but I'm also glad to be back and uploading videos again. Let's just get right into the video and I'll show you how this project we're building today works. So we'll be building this hamburger toggle menu. Basically, whenever we click on it, these three lines will shift around and that middle one just disappears and the square turns red as well, creating this X. And I also gave it a little reflection to make it look more cooler. So basically that's all that does. This project is a lot more complicated than it looks, but with my help, hopefully you guys should be able to understand how the code works behind the scenes. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So I just got into Visual Studio Code, created a file called hamburger.html. You can literally call this file anything you want as long as it ends in .html. I also got my boilerplate generated. So now we can start writing our HTML for this toggle menu. So we'll have a div with a class of toggle menu. I'm going to separate it using this hyphen. You can use an underscore or just camel case it, but I'm going to use a hyphen. And within this div, I'm going to create two more divs. So div times 2. This div will have a class of top piece because there will be 3 pieces: the top one, the center, and the bottom piece. And for our second div, we'll give it a class of menu burger. So now we can start writing CSS to style it up a little and give it some animation effects. So first thing we want to do is just give our body a background of this color right here. Now let's open up with live server and see how this looks. We can close this tab since they're both the same thing, but all we have right now is just an empty browser with this dark gray background. And now we can style our toggle menu, which is this div right here that we gave it the class of toggle menu, and we'll just want to give it a position of absolute. We'll do top 50%, which should move it somewhere around here, this on the center of our browser. Left 50% as well. I'm basically just giving it some basic CSS styles, so if you want to skip forward a little bit, feel free to do so. And we can also give it a background, which just makes it stand out much better on this empty browser, but obviously we still can't see it yet because we still have to give it its width and height. So we'll give it a width of 200 pixels, height of 200 pixels also, to make it a perfect square. And there we go, it appears on our browser. And we can also give it a transition of 0.3s so that when we add any animations or any hover effects to it, it will be a smooth animation. And let's give it that reflection by using -webkit -box reflect. We'll reflect it below the box itself and then have a gap that is wide, 1 pixel high, I should have said, linear gradient. And here we'll just pass in 2 values. Our first one will be transparent, and this will just be a hexadecimal color. And there we go, we have our reflection. And as you can see right now, when we hover over it, our cursor doesn't change, so let's fix that. We're going to set this property, cursor pointer, so that when you hover over it, our cursor turns into a pointer. So now we can style our menu burger, which is going to be this div right here. So I'll just type in a comment here saying top piece, just as a reminder, letting us know that this is going to create the top piece of our menu. So we'll just give this menu a width of 140 pixels, a height of 18 pixels, border radius 50 pixels, or anything that is greater than 50% of the height. So anything that is greater than 9, it should round off the corners completely. And we also want to do position absolute for that. Top 32%, left 50%, transform, translate, -50%. And now we can give our menu burger a pseudo element, which I'll give the before element. This will be responsible for creating the centerpiece. So we'll just write centerpiece right there. Give it a content of an empty string, which is what all CSS pseudo elements need. If you don't type that, it won't work. And also give it a position of absolute, so we can position it however we want using these custom values that CSS provides for us. And let's give it left 50%, transform, translate, -50%, -50%, And now if we go back and take a look at it, nothing has really changed, you might think, but that's only because we haven't given it any dimensions or any background color yet, which is why it's still invisible to our site. So let's give it a height of 18 pixels. Border radius will be 50 pixels. And now this is where it should show up now. And as you can see, it does. Perfect. And let's also give it a transition of 0.3s. Now we'll just copy this selector right here, paste it down here, but instead of before, it's going to be an after pseudo element. This will be responsible for creating the bottom piece, which I'll write in this CSS comment right here, which you can create by hitting Control and then the / like this. So now let's also give it a content of an empty string. Position absolute, top 4 25%. And if you guys notice, I'm kind of repeating the same CSS styles over and over again. So if you want to, you can start grouping similar styles using commas so that you can reduce the lines of code that you're typing, which will save you time also. Let's do left 50%, transform, translate, -50%, -50%. Awesome. And let's do width 140 pixels. We'll just copy all of this right here, paste that in there. And there we go, we have our bottom piece. And we'll get back to the JavaScript, to the CSS in a second. Now let's go write some JavaScript for this project. So I'm going to declare a few variables, so I'll write that right here. Declare variables. The first one will be menu open, which is going to be a boolean. And I'll set it to false for now. You'll see why. And we'll create another variable called menu and grab our toggle menu right here. So I'll just copy its class name and select it like so. And we want to give this menu a click event. So when we click on it, it's going to run this function in here. And here we'll just have some conditional statements. So we're going to use this if statement right here. So if menu open, is not true, this is what this is saying. If menu open is set to false, in this case, then we're going to do menu.classlist.add, and we're going to add the class called open, which we'll create in a second in our CSS. And we'll set the menu open variable to true now. And if it doesn't meet this first condition, then it's automatically going to run whatever is inside of this else block. So we'll do menu.classlist.remove, so it's going to remove the class, which will also take away the animation with it. And we want to set our menu open variable to false. And obviously, if we tried clicking on it, nothing is going to work right now because we still need to write a few more lines of CSS in order for that to work. So let's go do that right now. So I'll select my toggle menu and give it a class of open. And if this toggle menu has the class of open, we're going to give our menu burger with the before pseudo element a transform, translate x of 200 pixels, background transparent, which will make it disappear. And we can also do transition 1 second so that it doesn't disappear instantaneously. It's going to take 1 full smooth second for it to disappear. So it's sort of like a fading animation. So now if we try going back and clicking on our toggle menu, you'll notice that this center piece right here moves to the right and then disappears, which I think is pretty cool. I hope you guys like it too. If you do, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe because it would really help out a lot right now. And let's do the same for our menu burger with the after element. So we'll just select this right here, select all of that, copy it and paste it down here. Change this ending to after, and let's give this a transition of 0.3s, and we're going to transform it using translate -50%, -50%, and we'll rotate it 47 degrees. Translate will be y, -22 pixels. Let's do translate x, which will move it on the horizontal axis by -20 pixels. And let's also set the width to 200 pixels. So initially we set the width to be 140, but when the toggle menu has the class called open, we're going to give our menu burger with the after pseudo element a width of 200 pixels. So we're going to increase the width by 60 pixels. So now if we try clicking on it, you'll notice that it rotates, forming half of an X, and also it got 60 pixels wider. And let's create our top piece. So I'll just select that like so. Give it a position of absolute, top 32%, left 50%. Transform will be translate, we'll give it a background of white, width 140 pixels also. Height will be 18 pixels, border radius 50 pixels, and transition will also give it a 0.3s. So now if we go back and take a look at it, we have all three of our lines. So far we have the center piece disappearing when we click on it and our bottom piece rotating like so. Now we just need to move this top piece to rotate so that it's like this, forming an X. So let's go do that now. So I'll just select our toggle menu with the class of open, and also select our top piece along with it, and we'll just want to do transform, translate -50%, -50%. We'll rotate it by -44 degrees, which will rotate it 44 degrees counterclockwise. And we'll do translate Y, which will move it down 12 pixels. If it's a positive value, then it's going to move down. If it's a negative value, then it's going to move it up. And we'll give it a translate X also of -14 pixels. So if the translate X value is negative, then it's going to move it to the left. If it's positive, it's going to move it to the right. And let's also give its width, let's also set the width to 200 pixels. So now if we tried clicking on it, testing it out one more time, everything's working, awesome. But I have another cool thing we can add to our toggle menu to make it look even cooler. So we'll just do toggle menu dot open. So when it has the class of open, we'll give the toggle menu a background of RGB 230, 43, 43, which will turn it red. So when we click on it, it does all of that and turns the entire thing red, which I think just looks absolutely sick. And this is it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you found this helpful and learned something new from it. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I will read them whenever I see them. Other than that, have a good day, and I will see all of you guys in my next video.